This clip is brought to you by SaveWithConrad.com.
So, you remember how we were talking? We're starting match number 3 here.
Mm-hmm.
Remember how we were talking earlier about Johnny Grunge getting pranked by Kevin Sullivan and Eric Bischoff?
Yes.
Now that was what ran 1 week after this story. And I want to say in a loud and clear voice, I love me some Dave Meltzer. I love the Observer. I read it every week and have since 1997. Big fan. Highly recommend you subscribe.
Okay.
But this ran a week before.
Okay.
There's been talk that Johnny Grunge may be suspended for 6 weeks, effective February 13th, but I'm not positive of that. If it were the case, Rocco Rock would also have 6 weeks off, but he'd be paid since he wasn't involved in the incident. A few corrections from last week's report. Rocco Rock was definitely not in the van with Grunge when it was pulled over. One report said it was Hugh Morris in the van, and another said it was nobody in the van, but it was not a WCW production van, but a hotel van reserved for WCW production people, and the clerk at the hotel gave Grunge the keys, figuring it was okay since he worked for WCW. Grunge's blood alcohol level was 0.08, which is the minimum for a DUI. He's scheduled for arraignment on February 22nd, although he himself doesn't have to attend.
Okay.
So originally 1 week, hey, Johnny Grunge stole a WCW production truck and got a DUI. The next week, hey, he's probably going to be suspended for 6 weeks, but it wasn't a WCW production van. It was a hotel van.
Mm-hmm.
And he's going to be arraigned on such and such date. And the next week, hey, it was a rib. Kevin Sullivan and Eric Bischoff had a fake cop pretend to arrest him.
Yeah. Well, you know what that is? That's looking for a headline.
That's rumor and innuendo.
That's rumor and innuendo, which is it's what basically wrestling reporters on the internet are all about now. They don't check their facts now. They just run with shit.
Let's talk about some other news and notes. Barry Didinsky has been talked about coming in to upgrade the merchandising side. Do you remember Barry?
I do not.
What about Scott Norton and Ice Train? It's discussed here that they're going to be put together as a babyface tag team called Fire and Ice. And Norton,
remember that?
Thrilled about that.
Mm-hmm.
Remember Norton not being happy about that?
Yes. Scott. Scott has changed a great deal. Scott was kind of a
prick.
No, wasn't a prick. Kind of a grumpy guy at times, you know?
Oh, like you.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah.
At his core, Scott Norton was a great guy, but he seemed like he was grumpy a lot. So, yeah, I remember him not liking that, but there you go. Hey, Luger and Sting together. Look at Sting's haircut.
Yeah, man. We're a little ways away from Crow Sting. This is sort of the dying days of Surfer Sting.
Right.
We're going to see Sting and Luger take on Harlem Heat. And of course, in this era, Lex Luger is like kind of low key a heel, but pretending to be a baby face. I enjoyed this era of Lex's stuff.
Yeah. Then as you can tell, Sting was arguing with Lex there. So they're playing that up a great deal. The old Bayfront Center is no longer around from what I understand.
Some more news and notes here. Chris Benoit joined Eddie Guerrero and Dean Malenko in signing new contracts with WCW. Whoa. Rumor has the price pegged in the $150,000 range. He's expected to move from Edmonton to Atlanta. Man, how about that as just a talent acquisition? Benoit, Guerrero, Malenko.
Mm-hmm.
When the bell rang, those were some ass kickers right there, bud.
Oh yeah, they were the juice behind WCW, and you throw Chris Jericho in there and Juventud and the cruiserweights and all that they did. Eddie Guerrero is still loved and revered, and well, he should be for many reasons. Not only because of how great a performer he was, but how good of a guy he was, and how much of a leader he was backstage. And every time you say Eddie's name, I really miss him. Really, really do. And boy, you take a look at what's going on today, and Eddie had an impact on what is going on today, and you know he would still be involved in wrestling today.
Oh, big time, and he would love it too.
Yeah, he really would. Look
This
at
is,
Luger.
of course, Sting and Lex Luger going to be taking on Harlem Heat here for the tag titles. They're going to go 11 minutes and 49 seconds. And as a reminder, the winner of this match is going to face the Road Warriors later in the show. Meltzer would say the funny part about it is the announcers kept selling the storyline that the Warriors hadn't wrestled that night so they could be fresh, although what they did earlier could only be used by the loosest terms as wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
They were in a match that night. Booker T and Sting did some good athletic spots, but had no transitions. You don't even want to know about Luger and Stevie Ray.
Mm-hmm.
Below average, but not that bad. Finish saw Ray have Luger in a backbreaker over the shoulder when the Warriors did a run in. An animal hit Ray with a metal object, allowing Luger to score the pin. 1.5 stars.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, man, he was not a fan of Lex Luger or Stevie Ray here.
Well, Lex Luger Lex Luger was not good in the ring, but he looked great. And Stevie was not the best in the ring. I mean, obviously Booker T was the better of the two and went on to have a better career. But you know what? Stevie Ray's credit, man, and we're watching it right now, he could throw a punch. He could throw a working punch. He was bad. You know, I was just thinking as we were talking there, and Luger had Stevie Ray back into a corner. Luger was terrible at throwing working punches, but Stevie Ray really could. So there were good and bad things about every wrestler.
Let's talk about some news and notes. There's no competition on Monday Night Raw one week in this era because it's the dog show.
Wow,
So
yeah.
Nitro's here preempted, and as a result, Nitro sets a record rating 3.7 and a 5.3 share. Even the replay does a 1.3 and a 3.8 share. But what's interesting about that is even though Nitro set its all-time record here on February 12th with no Raw opposition, TNT still actually lost to USA because the dog show whipped its ass 3.9.
Yeah, man. You know what? Listen, hey.
You think your luchador could fuck with this Yorkie? Get out of here.
Listen, I'm all for dogs, as you know. So yeah, I would. Hey, had it
You'd
been
rather
me,
watch the dogs.
I would rather watch a dog show than wrestling. Back then,
I love you for that.
yeah, really would. Love the dog show. As a matter of fact, the dog show is a fixture now on Thanksgiving, I believe.
I want to mention the house show business is coming back here for WCW. You know, Eric had put a pause on that for a bit, but they did $216,000 across 3 weekend dates. So it seems like Flair and Savage is a bit of a draw. The February 17th show at the Baltimore Arena drew 11,000 fans. 8,000 of them are paid.
Wow.
It's a $102,000 gate. And legitimately, it's the first $100,000 gate for a non-pay-per-view show in the history of the company since Jim Crockett did it in like 88.
Wow. That's quite a number.
Isn't that big time?
That is big time.
Now listen, these days, that sound like a lot, but you know, adjusted for inflation, blah, blah, blah. And considering where WCW had been, it's a big damn deal to have 6 figures.
Yeah. It really is. And we are not at our peak right now either. I mean,
We talked earlier about Center Stage being sold.
Yay.
Did you hear that at the time? I mean, I know you were not a big fan, but do you remember there being a worry that, oh man, if we're not doing it here, where are we going to do it? And I know you may not have liked the venue, but you had to love the proximity to your home.
Yeah, I like that. You know what? This is stupid, and it was stupid back in the day to think it, and it's stupid for me to think about it now. But I remember hearing about Center Stage being sold, and my first thought was, let's go back to the studios on Techwood. Let's do the old school shit.
That would have been awesome.
Yeah, and there was never any thought about that. I don't know if they had what had gone on at Techwood at that time. Maybe they had scrapped that studio or whatever, but that's what I thought. And of course, that was me, you know, still being in the Crockett mindset. Let's bring it back to this. But I didn't give a shit where we did it. I mean, we could have done it at Marietta Civic Center, Cobb County Civic Center. We could have done it at the Gainesville, Georgia Mountain Center. And there was a time prior to this when I first came back, and Ole Anderson was the booker, and this was like 1990 during the Jim Hurt era, that we did our TV shows at the Cobb County Civic Center one week and the Georgia Mountain Center the next week. Cobb County Civic Center, Georgia Mountain Center. We just went back and forth between the two. And I don't know how long that lasted, but I remember us doing that because I remember Ole thinking and Ole talking to me about it, that why are we going elsewhere when we got these two great venues close to us and we can do TV there?
Right.
So I thought, yeah, center stage, take that rat hole and implode it, and let's go somewhere else.
Rat hole. Listen to you.
Well, hey, if you can rip on Jacksonville, I can rip on center stage.
I'm not arguing that. It's just, damn.
Well, a lot of memorable things happen to center stage. I get it. Look at that. Oh, Lord. Oh, that was bad. Wanted to do a lariat across the face, and he missed, hit him across the chest, and Stevie Ray fell down as well. Fans are not into this either, are they?
No, I don't think I know they love Sting.
Right.
But it's probably hard to make heads or tails of the whole Luger thing. Like, is he a baby face? Is he a heel? Does he want to be here? Does he not?
Right.
And then, it's hard to boo Harlem Heat. I know Harlem Heat are positioned here as heels, but Harlem Heat are cool.
Sure they are.
And so you kind of don't want to shit on that either.
Mm-hmm.
I want to mention the preliminary indications about the buy rate here, according to Meltzer, were a 0.63 buy rate, and WCW officials are pegging the figure at 0.7, which he would say is conceivably accurate. The number would be slightly higher than Halloween Havoc, which would be a huge increase over both World War III and Starrcade. The 0.63 figure would approximately mean 148,000 buys and a $1.86 million company gross. So even though we're saying, hey, this is not a great pay-per-view, 148,000 buys isn't the worst thing we ever heard.
148,000 buys?
Yeah.
That's a lot of money, buddy.
Yeah, man.
What was the price point back then?
I believe this is $24.95.
Okay, so you say $25 times 148,000 is a lot of money.
1.86 million is the company gross.
Okay. Yeah. There you go. Back then, we always thought that pay-per-views were just basically cash cows.
They were.
Yeah, they were. And that's why we started doing them once a month.
The July Bash at the Beach show, which we know in hindsight, boy, what a big day that's going to be. It's when Hulk Hogan becomes a bad guy and joins the NWO. Mm-hmm. It was moved in this era from Lake Tahoe, California to Daytona Beach. In hindsight, do you think that would have made a difference?
Yeah, I do.
The fans, the talent.
Yeah.
What would have been the difference?
The fans, I think. Lake Tahoe?
Yeah, man.
All right. What's the clientele there? I mean, that's the same Lake Tahoe for that all the rich people go and spend time in, right?
Yep.
All right, there you go. A tourist town, maybe at the I don't know.
I love you said it's where rich people go.
Yeah. It is. It's where rich people go. So I think Daytona Beach was the place. It was always a good venue for us. It's a good, solid wrestling venue. Lake Tahoe was not. Not that I'm aware of. It could have been back in the day. Was Lake Tahoe a regular stop were the promoters out there in California? I don't think so. And by the way, who were the promoters in California back in the day? I don't even know who ran California. Was that AWA territory? Was that Don Owens?
Royshire.
Royshire. Okay.
Hey, so this show overall that we're watching got 21.8% thumbs up, 59.7% thumbs down, and 18.5% thumbs in the middle. The best match poll went to Ric Flair and Randy Savage. Second place was Nasty's and Public Enemy. Third place was Johnny B. Bad and Diamond Dallas Page. And the worst match poll, probably no surprise, Conan and One Man Gang, followed by Kevin Sullivan and Brian Pillman, which is going to be a whole new story. And of course, Hulk Hogan and the Giant got 43 votes. The whole Brian Pillman thing is really the story of this entire show.
Okay.
Don't you think?
You know what? Wow, look at this.
There's not how to do it. That's the finish.
Oh, didn't even do that well. I'm gonna I'm going to play old guy forgets his hat again. I don't remember the Brian Pillman story here.
I respect you, Booker Man. Does that ring a bell?
Yeah. No, kind of.
A work shoot with Brian Pillman, quitting, getting fired, showing up in ECW, the loose cannon. None of that rings a bell.
No.
What'd you have for breakfast yesterday?
I don't know. How was St. Louis? I don't know.
Is Lois still in her bubble? We need one, a bigger bubble to include yours as well.
She's not making breakfast. She's on Facebook.
Well, listen, this is, as you and I are recording, it's no longer a weekend. We're recording ahead of time because you and I were both in St. Louis this past weekend, even though you refused to show your face in public.
Yeah.
So yeah, my wife at 9:07 on a Tuesday, she's doing medical research. And speaking of medical research, I wish we had some to save Gene. Let's track Gene here.
On in. Congratulations on retaining the WCW Tag Team titles, but Sting and Mr. Luger, you know what went on. There was outside interference that I saw, even though the referee didn't see it.
Well, I told everybody else at Stinger, I told you that I would hold up my end of the bargain. I'd be there for you. I was there for the win. We were the tag team in the 90s. This is our destiny. It's up and over. The very top for Stinger and Lex Luger, because we're the world tag team champions. I told you so, Stinger, and the World Warriors are next.
Did you see what happened? Did you see what happened?
What do you mean, did I see what happened?
Did you see what happened? The Road Warriors interfered.
Champions again. I can't believe it, package. I should never question you. I am with the program, yeah.
But gentlemen, it's out of the frying pan and into the fire. I can't help but think this was all by arrangement, perhaps. You saw what happened, the Road Warriors coming in with that steel plate and nailing one of the Harlem Heat. Subsequently, Lex Luger getting the pin and the victory as they retain the WCW Tag Team titles here in front of this capacity crowd at Super Brawl number 6. Gentlemen, I'm going to throw it back to my colleagues, the American Dream, Dusty Rhodes, Bobby the Brain Heenan, and you, Tony Schiavone.
Thanks a lot, Gene. And we've had 2 title matches so far. Still 3 more title matches to go, and no change in the guard as of yet.
Yeah, he's still a little disturbed about that situation. No change in the guard is right, but I believe the Road Warriors really sitting right there perched to become World Tag Team Champions.
Road Warriors later on in this telecast will face Lex Luger and Sting, and like we've said all along, it's got to favor the Road Warriors. They have not yet wrestled. And you got to wonder, also, if Sting and Luger are now back as a cohesive unit or not, Brain.
Well, I don't know what's going through their mind. They looked happy when they left together, but there was still something there that tells me they're not getting along. Road Warriors, they're as happy as can be. They just about had the title handed to them on a silver platter. You got Luger and Sting who are fighting. They just took a heck of a beating at the hands of Harlem Heat. Now they're going to have to get in the ring with the Road Warriors. I wouldn't like that job.
Hey, it's Conrad Thompson. Thanks for checking out the podcast here on YouTube. Be sure to hit the subscribe button and the notifications bell so you get a notice anytime we upload some new content. And go save yourself some money right now. If you're in a 30-year loan or you have credit card debt, it's not a matter of if I can save you money. It's a matter of how much. Find out right now for free at SaveWithConrad.com.